Hello and welcome to This Car Pod.
I am Kenan.
I'm Nick.
Nick is filling in today. Filippo is gone. He's in Atlanta.
Yes.
Kennan's going to be there soon at the Road Atlanta track day at the Petit Le Mans.
For Petit Le Mans for IMSA. Very exciting.
Filippo's already there because he's filming some video with Aston Martin. You'll find out all. We have to start with the news.
Nobody knows why, but yes, to the news.
Kia. Folks, the Kia Soul is being canceled.
Aw.
You know, there was a time not long ago where this was the most popular car in Kia's lineup.
Totally. I've been seeing, this ad in particular, when they did the mice dancing thing.
It was hot when the ad first came out and all that. But I think like the beginning, like late first gen, beginning second gen, maybe 10 years ago, it was truly the most popular car in Kia's lineup.
And now it's dead.
And now it's dead. Small cars are hard to make money selling. The market has moved on. People want SUVs. I also wonder if Kia has kind of made the decision, like, they're going to start stepping up into like the Telluride has become so popular. Like they're going to start trying to stepping up into like more, you know, they can make more profit, like a more legitimate kind of stuff as opposed to being associated with like tiny cars, which was all we know about Kia for so long.
Oh, for decades. Yeah.
It seems like the opposite of a halo car where it anchors people to they make crappy cars.
They make
like the
little,
Soul.
right, like the Soul. That's right.
Yeah.
That's what you think of. For a long time, you thought of Kia. And honestly, this is like one of the main things you thought of.
You think of hamsters and a Hain people mover.
You don't like how it looks?
Funny enough, when people come to me about my Multipla that I just got, I equate it to the Kia Soul because it came in that same green. It's ugly as heck, but it is super practical.
Oh, are you saying heck?
The Kia Soul fits all of those criteria as like the modern Korean version of the Multipla.
Yeah, I mean, it's not anywhere near as weird looking as the Multipla.
And not good looking.
But it's I don't think generally the public doesn't consider this to be one of the most ugly cars.
No,
I
I think
10, the multiple gets mentioned twice.
In part because the Soul became so mainstream that like we just sort of you know accepted it. We got to know it.
Yeah. Well, they took inspiration from a hamster, not a platypus. Good design choice. But
You don't like how the Kia Soul looks, really?
I mean, I wouldn't be caught dead driving it.
Yeah, but that's because you wouldn't be caught dead driving any compact car. Like,
I'm driving one right now.
If you were going into the dealership to buy a new compact car, you could do a lot worse than a Kia Soul.
The Cube was worse.
You could end up in a 2013 Ford Focus. Nick's got a Ford Focus.
Cuts
I
a little
love that
deep.
Focus.
Maybe that's why he's anti-Soul. There's like
He's pro
competitiveness here.
I'm soulless, you might say.
Give us the next news story, please. Kia Soul's gone. Hyundai, other news story. We didn't cover this when it was announced, which was 3 weeks ago, but Hyundai kind of slipped into like a quarterly news update that they are developing a body-on-frame pickup truck.
Wow.
There's no pictures. There's no anything. All they have said is they are developing an in-house, so this isn't going to be like a shared with Toyota, whatever, in-house body-on-frame pickup truck, mid-size pickup truck in the U.S. market, and it will come by the end of the decade.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's a big deal. Maybe someone there is listening to as you've been standing on your soapbox for a while, saying that more manufacturers need to be making that because that's what people want.
It's interesting because I have a suspicion an SUV will also accompany it.
You have to imagine.
It seems like that makes the most sense. Ford doesn't do that, but Toyota does it to great success.
Yeah.
And of course, Nissan did for years with the Xterra and the Frontier. And I wonder, does Hyundai, like Honda's sitting here and going, I'm not sure, I don't know, they don't do we make one? I don't know. And Hyundai's like, we're going to do it. We're just going to do it.
Do you think are they thinking of the U.S. market in particular? Like there's a Toyota Hilux and a lot of like Asia Pacific body on frame trucks.
Hyundai sells, or Kia sells that Tasman thing overseas, but I think it's unibody. It sounds like they are developing this. All they said was it's going to be in the U.S. market, but they didn't say that it's not going to be global. For all we know, like other vehicles, it could be. Like the Ranger is global.
It would seem silly not to come up with a global concept. It just... Will people in America that like love the F-150 and Silverado and Ram do a Hyundai pickup?
Well, it's going to be a midsize, so it'll be a competitor for the Tacoma. And I think that in the midsize segment, people are a lot more willing to allow imports because, I mean, they already have. The Tacoma's outsells all the other ones.
Do you ever see people in Toyota pickups and think, why don't they like America?
No, because that pickup
is
made. Well, actually, that pickup's built in Mexico. Because that pickup is built in a North American country. No, I don't think that. I think that those
You
people.
also said this to a Toyota man here. I mean,
My truck was built in the U.S. I
Yeah.
want to be clear about this. My Toyota
The
truck.
camouflage fenders give that away.
My Toyota truck was built. You know what? I had a buddy today send me a picture. We'll get it posted here of a Sequoia TRD Pro where they had swapped out the fenders camo for white fenders from a regular Sequoia. And you know what? It
works?
looks worse.
No.
I prefer the camo fenders.
No
Are
way.
you sure it just looks different and you're just that
you don't
initial
like-
feeling is
I'm going to show you, and you tell me what you think. But this does not look like an like a meaty off-road vehicle.
He doesn't like paint match fenders. Remember the Cayenne? He thinks it looks like a diaper.
Oh, and he likes the
can't
WRX.
handle. He
Yeah.
can't handle gloss on fender flares.
Well, I think an off-road vehicle should have plastic flared fenders.
Yes.
And like my E450 all-terrain.
Right, you want the XRT look. You're still in that platypus thing. Like you want.
I
the
do.
off-road
I do.
picture.
I want to show off. Listen, I pulled off all my TRD Pro badges, but I want to show off a little. And I think that this looks like a Lexus TX. It looks like a Sequoia TRD Pro that's asking for permission. Can I be a Sequoia TRD Pro, please?
it does neuter it a little bit, but I think the hierarchy goes carbon fiber fender flares like the 4x4 squared, then paint matched, and then camo, and then plastic. Actually,
That's the hierarchy. Carbon fiber is number one.
You didn't ask for it.
that's
but
a
Nick
serious
did.
off-roader.
Hopefully, Hyundai will offer carbon fiber fender flares on their midsize
Or
truck.
at
on
the
their
very
body
least-
on frame.
At the very least, camo.
It's interesting also to develop a body on frame truck in this day and age. Like
Yeah.
we're moving to electric vehicles. We're moving to these kind of pod cars that sort of all look the same. And, you know, the designs are getting, the interiors are getting pulled out. There's like oval shapes. They're developing what's probably going to be a muscular body on frame, like go do it pickup truck. And that's pretty cool.
That is pretty
They
cool.
believe that that market will be around long enough to justify the development of such a vehicle.
I just hope it doesn't look like the Santa Fe.
Santa Cruz is what you're
Cruz,
thinking
yeah.
of, the pickup truck. It'll be curious. It'll be interesting to see what they do. Like, will they keep the Santa Cruz a car-based truck
Yeah.
in addition to a body on frame? I imagine not. I imagine Santa Cruz is a one and done generation.
Why didn't they name that the Baja? I guess they couldn't. I guess the Subaru would get upset about
Stolen
that.
it.
But stolen valor.
I
And
think that
Mountain Dew.
I imagine
Mountain
if
Dew.
Hyundai's doing this, I imagine there will also be a Kia version, and perhaps it will have hamsters.
Perhaps it will have hamsters.
Also, one other interesting thing about the body on frame truck thing is that there's no real powertrain that seems like it would work. I'm very curious. It'll be very interesting to see what happens in the next few years. A body on frame Hyundai truck. Take that Honda. We're not really sure. I don't know. Do we do it? Okay, move on to the next story.
Tesla, which Filippo's not here, so it must be your story.
It is my story, shockingly.
Wow, I'm surprised at that.
Two things interesting with Tesla going on. One, they had a record profit in Q3. So the sky was falling. They had a rough first half of the year. Because the subsidies were ending, I think
Yeah.
they were able to pump a lot of sales. But still, for someone that was in the news for so long for not doing well, a record Q3 is
It is
great if you own the
important,
stock.
though, really important to highlight.
Yeah.
The subsidies ended the day that Q4 started.
Right.
So a ton of people pulled forward their vehicle purchases or leases into Q3. And EVs had declining sales in Q1 and Q2 and actually a significant increase in Q3 due to the subsidies. I bet you Q4 ain't as good.
But that being said, all right, so we lose that price discount basically.
Yep.
However, they're rolling out new base models that will be cheaper. They're removing some features, et cetera, et cetera. But those cheap Teslas that have been promised for so long are finally going to become a thing. Likewise, they're continuing to refresh these models. Like it does feel like it just felt so dark for Tesla for so long. Like I think they could get a good Q4 out of having a
Maybe,
lower price
especially if they really do have these entry-level cars. I think what a lot of people are looking for in this car is an affordable thing.
Right.
Like an affordable commuter. Like almost everyone I know with a Tesla has a fun car, but like wanted something they could commute in and just
Right.
not care about. And so coming out with a base model. Now, one of the things I read is that the base model, some of the things will actually, like they won't include some of the self-driving type stuff, which will be interesting. I think that's a big component of why people are interested in these cars. But it sounds like it hasn't been perfectly explained yet. And I'm curious to see where it actually all
I
ends
mean,
up.
if you could add it later, like as a software update, then it's people like me that like only pay attention to the purchase price will be like, okay, I got it cheap, but then my next bonus or commission check, I'll upgrade it.
His next commission check.
This is how America thinks,
Nick's
right? We're
talking
not-
like a Tesla owner.
Yep.
We're
Nick
not
is such
planning
a
that
deep
far
sales
ahead.
guy. It
Yeah.
really fits.
But good Q3 for him, and obviously that was due to the subsidy. I am incredibly curious, and I think it will be incredibly interesting to see what happens to the electric car market this quarter. I have a suspicion the bottom is going to absolutely fall out, except for the really high-end stuff where people probably weren't relying that much on the tax credit anyway. For instance, I bet Pininfarina Battista sales will be fairly similar in Q4.
Right, they'll go from 0 to 0.
That's correct. Yes. That's
Mirror
right.
the Aspark Owl sales numbers.
All right, give us what's next.
Yes, sticking with factories. So we've talked about Jaguar Land Rover for a while. Their factory was shut down due to a cyber attack. Well, they've opened back up again. We're filming this on Wednesday. They're starting production again today. It's starting a little bit smaller. They're beginning with just like the engine assembly plant and the battery assembly plants. But it said but it was announced by Jaguar that by the end of the week or end of next week, they will be back to operational
Did they pay a
status.
ransom?
I didn't say if they paid a ransom or not.
probably
but
wouldn't
the
want to announce.
problem was dissolved. It went away as things go away. And
They gave the hackers a couple of new full sizes. And in Russia, that's like giving them $1 million bucks.
It all worked, and they got to mark off 2 as sold. So in the end, it actually worked out for everybody. But yes,
Boy, this makes you really think that your car isn't all that special, huh? Sitting on the frame rails, wheels not on it, like they're just building. Like this isn't. What do you get? It's all about. Then they put on the style to make you think it's cool.
yeah, I think Porsche people in particular should go to the factory and see how the cars are assembled and are moved around. I watched when I was there. I watched like just a new GT2 RS or a new GT3 RS rather. Just on a trailer, just in the rain, just being pulled around. That car will never see rain again.
I remember. I'll never forget this. One time, there was a significant snowstorm in the north of Germany, which is where the cars leave from. They leave from the port of Emden, and a significant snowstorm. And someone at the port, I worked with someone who was at the port there, and they sent me a picture of all these Porsches completely covered in snow. And just covered. I mean, it was like bad.
Yeah.
Like the trains were covered in snow that brought the cars from the factory to the port. And I was thinking to myself, someone on Renlist is going to advertise one of these cars in 20 years, never been wet, only ever used waterless, never ever been wet.
Meanwhile,
it actually sat under 1.5 feet of snow when it was just a unit at the port. Nobody cared.
right. That's exactly right. It kind of takes the romance off.
Glad that Jaguar Land Rover is getting back into production. What could we have possibly done without new discoveries?
Right. That's sure. They did also announce though that in this sales up until that point, until September 30th, they now noted from last year were down 24.2% compared to the year prior. They're trying to blame some of this on the shutdown, but I don't think that was necessarily what caused it, although it was certainly a
It's hard to
contributing
know
factor.
because Jaguar Land Rover is in this weird situation where they're production constrained. I mean, to be clear, Jaguar is not producing any cars, so that probably has some component of the sales decline. But Land Rover is also like a little weirdly production constrained. Like Range Rovers are still on waiting lists. Maybe new Defenders are to an extent. I don't know.
I wonder if Defender still is.
Probably not, but it's still a hot car, even at 5 years later.
I think they have a nice lineup right now, or at least a
You want to
reasonably good lineup.
You want a Discovery Sport?
I want a Defender.
You want to? Do you
Yeah.
Really?
really?
Why?
In terms of like cool 3-row SUVs, it's still, even with the diaper on the back, that makes it a little ungodly.
Backpack. The regular 110 offers a third row. It's
Yeah,
just tight.
which would probably be fine.
You drove mine, didn't you?
No.
I drove that. It was
It was fine. You know what it was really good at was being off road. Like looking back on it, it was a beast off road both on the sand, and we took it to the desert here a couple times, like rock crawling. It was like quite impressive.
And I truly think it still looks nice. It's aged well. Like it doesn't look like a 5-year-old vehicle.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. That came out 5.5 years ago. In fact, I bought mine almost 5 years ago to the week when this podcast airs.
I have the giant Lego set in my office. I look at it every day.
I bought mine the day that Joe Biden was elected the U.S. president.
Wow. Because of that?
I was like, Biden's here, time for it. No, I ordered it months before. It just happened to
No,
come
I
in.
remember you texting the group thread and specking it out and being like, oh, I can't get the Steelies unless I get the different engine, and which one do I pick? And we all weighed in on that.
That came the same week as the RS2, and they left like
You lost
pretty quick.
interest in both of them pretty much at the same
both
time.
looked really cool and were disappointing to what you expected.
Yeah, I did drive the Defender across country like 3 times. I mean, sold mine with like 50-some thousand miles. I really used it.
Yeah.
I love solving problems, whether it's fixing the Countach with Doug and a couple of cold ones, or solving the latest squeak in my E39. Nothing is more satisfying than fixing something. That's exactly why I have been using Claude. For a recent complex project that Filippo had me work on, I needed to connect insights across a ton of sources. Naturally, that would take hours, but Claude found connections across 50 plus sources that I wouldn't have spotted myself. It doesn't just give me the answers, it helps me think through the problem. Claude is the AI for minds that don't stop at good enough. It's the collaborator that actually understands your entire workflow and works with you, not for you. Whether you're debugging code at midnight or strategizing your next business move, Claude extends your thinking to tackle the problems that really matter. Filippo also used Claude's artifacts to quickly build an ROI calculator for some of our corporate business meetings, something interactive that he could share the same day without having to write a single line of code. If you want an AI partner that helps you go deeper and actually extends your thinking, then you need to check this out. Ready to tackle bigger problems? Sign up for Claude today and get 50% off Claude Pro when you use our link, claude.ai/cars. That's claude.ai/CARS right now for 50% off 3 months of Claude Pro. Claude.ai/cars.
Okay, next situation. What
Lamborghini.
is
This is
New Lambo concept. Lambo always has the coolest concepts, often which like the Sesto Elemento and all those cars come to production in some shape or format. So I think this is a tease at a limited production Revuelto in the future or something.
Is this
it's
renderer?
a concept car. It's a render right now called the Manifesto. But how freaking cool if they build anything even remotely resembling this in real life.
I mean, to me, it just looks like
Is it a render?
shape.
It looks like a shape, but that's what's cool about it.
It doesn't really have a, I mean, it has no doors.
I think it looks cool.
And think
as
about
hell.
It looks cool as
the
hell.
Gallardo Concept S. There was an Aventador that had no windshield and the split down the middle. Like this is something they absolutely could and should build. So,
Totally. I think it looks cool.
Looks
as hell.
really cool.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if they really could build it.
Yeah, I don't-
it'll be tweaked a little bit,
For
but
instance,
I think
it doesn't have doors. I think that one of the tweaks they'll have to make
Well,
is they will probably have to add doors.
perhaps the glass just opens up and, you get
And
in.
that famously is a very good production car
absolutely.
entry and exit component. a lift-off canopy. You get a rock chip in the windshield. Oh, I'm sorry, that'll be $69,000 for a new lift-off canopy.
Well, I mean, yeah, but the Lucids have the one piece of glass that I'm sure is also about
But
70
you
grand.
don't enter through it.
That's true.
the impracticality though is part of the point. The Valkyrie, all of these insane hypercars coming out now, them being difficult and like quirky, to your catchphrase there, is now one of the main selling points.
That is cool as hell. I can't imagine it will actually be built. Maybe it teases a small volume model.
I think Stradman already has his allocation in that color too.
Probably. But along the topic of crazy Lamborghinis, so Lamborghini's head of sales and marketing said that they plan to build more crazy models, kind of in the vein of the Storado. So lifted, off-road, just insane stuff.
Specifically, they said they plan to build more off-road supercars.
Off-road, yes, exactly, which I think is fascinating. And I hope that they do, because if any company can get away with it, it's kind of Lamborghini. They should be building the craziest, wackiest, most insane
Funny
stuff.
is the news article I saw said, like the Revuelto, and not the Urus.
But the Urus. I was just going to say that. First off, Revuelto is too big and ungainly and expensive to do an off-road version.
Agreed.
The Urus,
Well, they did that. They did that.
it's an SUV.
They did that STX thing that was going to become something and then never did. But it doesn't make sense.
Why do they not do an Urus 4x4 squared? Like with chunky tires, big carbon fender flares, the hierarchy.
And
Like seriously.
And call it the Lamu.
LMO3, baby.
LMO3. Exactly. It could be a trim package, but like still, like I think that would be cool.
Let me ask you this. Is LM002 the worst named car ever? Like the leading zeros are what's really offensive, as if there were going to be hundreds of LMs.
Maybe they were supposed to be.
But in the end, they only needed 2 to really refine the formula.
I don't know, MP4-12C
That's
is pretty
bad. Yeah.
poor.
That is bad.
That's pretty bad.
But leading zeros is wild. Couldn't it have been LM2?
Well, it was supposed to be like a military vehicle. Maybe that was just what they used in like the RFP for the government.
Well, that was the Cheetah.
Yeah.
You ever see the Cheetah?
But that was effectively the LMO1, I assume.
The Cheetah, though, was like open. It was like a Baja dune buggy. And then maybe that was the LMO1, or there then was an LMO1, but then there's an LMO2, and that was it. They were like, all right, no LM277 needed.
Damn.
What a stupid thing. You know what would have been cool? If each one had been individually numbered, and that was the number.
Oh, that would have been cool. That would have been cool. That was before the era where like they could cheat and lie, I guess, about that one of whatever.
Lamborghini will do that on the blockchain.
Lambo doesn't cheat.
I think it's incredibly cool. I am surprised to hear that them saying that they're thinking about continuing this. The Storado was not a success. They had a hard time selling them out. And then the used market values have not been strong.
No.
I think it will be a success long term. I still firmly believe that in 20 years, people are going to look back at this as the pinnacle Huracan.
Yeah.
Yep. I think it's kind of emblematic of the times too. It just is.
Yeah, like this was when off-roading took off, the G-Wagon and the Raptor and all these cars, and there was a V10, and it was like still kind of the last crazy bastion of this.
I agree that Tamario is probably the better point than a Revolto. I really hope they do a shooting brake version of one of these two. An off-road
Shooting brake would
with
be cool.
a lift
Off-road
gate.
shooting brake would be super cool.
I guess with the engine back there, it's going to be a little tricky, but do it anyways.
Yeah, but there are mid-engine shooting brakes.
Cayman.
And by the way, that's right, not a shooting brake, but it is a hatchback.
Yeah.
At that point, it's just body work. By the way, on this podcast, we only refer to it as the Lamborghini John Tamarian.
That's right.
There is
There's no in our hearts and in our minds. There's only one.
there is no Temerario is simply too hard to say.
Right. And Tamarindo is another one.
Yeah,
talked
no,
about.
I-
The
and
Tamarian.
We've already gotten accustomed to John Tamarian, and he is in the Lamborghini world.
Right. It just all comes together.
As far as I'm concerned, it's the Lamborghini John Tamarian.
right.
Storado.
LM003.
I like including the John, too, in case there's other Tamarians we're referring
Well,
to.
I don't want other Tamarians to think
Yes.
that it was named for them.
I mean, he's got kids
Well,
and
his
a
dad
wife.
was involved with Lamborghinis.
Yes.
So
The
no
kids
confusion.
and wife were not. They didn't factor into Lamborghini's decision to name the car after him. They would have named it after him even if he was a single man. Anyway, I do the upshot here is I do think it's crazy they didn't do an off-road race.
Yes,
I
agreed.
think it is truly insane.
Especially, they usually do it at the end of the run to try to push unsold inventory. I guess the Urus has just done so well, they don't really need
It's
the
done
help.
well and it continues to do well. But
Yeah.
still, like, give us like the G-Wagon's doing well and they're doing a convertible and they still do an off-road of that. Like,
Right.
Right. It doesn't really hamper anything.
give
Just
us
keep
an
doing it.
off-road Urus. That's what you do. You make an SUV and it's like, oh, we're going to do off-road versions of our sports cars. Did you consider?
Yeah, I'd like to pause it.
I mean, we want a Lamu. We want like a
want a
real,
Lamu,
right.
like purpose-built Lamu. But given that they're almost surely not going to do that, the next best thing would be
Gosh, I want a Limo so bad.
It is one of the coolest look. I mean, look
click
at
on that one. Click on that one.
I've
Pull that
never
up.
met a car
It's
that's
so-
more, I know what I got in terms of people selling them.
Yeah.
Like the
Nick's
asking
been
price is always
pursuing-
double what it really is worth.
And actual sales are way lower.
Yeah.
There is a wide disparity
They
between.
point to the one result at Car Week last year and say all are worth 800, and it's like you're lucky to get 400. for
Everyone
this.
sells for 300 to 400. Yep. It is also one of the worst cars. I've driven them and it's really bad, but
It's
that
gotta
wouldn't
be.
stop me under any circumstances from buying it.
Of course not.
Yeah.
It is ponderous though. Like it is such a large vehicle that it is
Yeah.
a ponderous driving thing.
And those weird one-off tires, it can't drive well.
Yeah, although you don't
Yeah.
need to buy those tires. You can put super swampers on it.
Hell yeah.
Okay,
I
give
do.
us our next news story, please.
Yes. So sticking with exotic cars, Ferrari has announced that they have added to the Fiorano test track. So here's Fiorano, very famous corner. They've added something that they're calling the E-Vortex track. And the idea with this is they took corners and more stuff that you find around on normal roads and added it to this so they can test their concept cars and not have to go out and do testing on the streets. Famously, you'd see a lot of very cool concept Ferraris leaving the factory gates. A lot of car spotters like position themselves around those gates to see Ferrari test these
Now
things.
you'll need a drone.
Now you'll need a drone or to live in one of those houses over here where people complain about the noise, which is unbelievable to me. You're
Yeah,
next to
it's pretty
Fiorano.
crazy. If you ever go on Google Satellite and look at where Fiorano is, it's just in a neighborhood.
Right, yeah, exactly. And
Like the factory was here, and then it sort of has expanded over time to the point where now there are abutters.
right, yeah,
It's just sort of what they're doing, I guess.
exactly. But they acquired 37,000 square meters, which is 9.14 acres to build this, and it's 2 kilometers long.
370,000 square feet. You know, that's what I learned. Square meters to square feet, just multiply by 10.
Good to know.
Good
Like,
to know.
that'll come in handy a lot.
Well, if you're ever trying to buy property in Europe,
Yeah.
so they only list it in square meters.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Good. Noted.
But there it is. So-
Why does it have a sand trap?
you know, I've been trying to figure that out. Maybe it's for the Pure Songway to test the 4-wheel drive system. I have no idea. But yeah, it does have a sand trap. There's no water. But they're like these circular, like
Yeah, and I
crop circle
noticed
looking
there's
things.
like,
yeah.
there's like lanes up there, and there's like lanes here. And
It kind of reminds you of like a Pekla or like one of the Porsche Experience Centers, like skid pad.
Yeah, I wonder if this is if they're going to test like autonomous driving stuff with that. I don't know what they're going to do with it exactly, but there it is. So in addition to now, of course, E-Vortex also doesn't roll
No,
off
no.
the tongue. It's nice and
E-Vortex is a
simple.
great name. You remember the 599 GTB Fiorano? The next one will be the 784 GTB E-Vortex.
It is so Italian. Or Philippe would say, no, he's Vortex.
Right, he would. He would, and
then
probably
he'd roll
is
his
currently.
eyes and
Now he doesn't watch the pod when he's not on it because he's not into cars.
That's right. He doesn't like cars.
He's like, what am I going to watch this pod? I could be watching a pod about cooking.
Maybe if I send it to him over Slack, he'll watch it.
That's
then.
possibly true, but he did leave notes in the pod doc. Did you see as like
But
additional
that's only
commentary?
because he's not going to follow up. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have to worry about that.
Right.
We don't have to do what he says.
True. Right.
Okay, give us our next news story.
So one last motorsport related thing. So Porsche has announced that they are pulling out of the WEC, the World Endurance Championship, which is kind of sad. They said they are going to continue to focus on IMSA, which is great, which I'll talk about more because I'm going to an IMSA race very shortly. But they are going to focus instead on Formula E and IMSA, but no more competition in WEC, which I think is sad. And I think that also kind of, I wonder if that's a little bit related to their difficult financial times recently, that they're kind of scaling back some of their efforts to save a little bit of money.
Maybe they'll go back to Formula One like they did with my Carrera GT.
They've said that, right, exactly.
work.
As a manufacturer for engines that they were so bad at that engine never went in a Formula One car.
The Carrera GT is basically a Formula One car for the road.
Right, said every automotive journalist ever.
The Carrera GT is essentially a Formula One engine and strapped to a Formula One superstructure with some bodywork to please people.
I don't have the energy for this.
Yeah.
But it makes me sad. I want to see Porsche competing at the pinnacle of motorsport, but it's not a surprise necessarily.
We don't
Volkswagen
think Formula One is the pinnacle of motorsport.
Well, it's Formula E, not exactly a pinnacle of anything.
Well, no, I know, but the Formula. You're saying you want to see Porsche compete.
I
in the
want to see
pinnacle
them in
of motorsport.
Formula One. Yes,
Right? Isn't that where you want to see them compete?
Yes and no. I mean, because I like seeing them at Le Mans racing against Ferrari. It's like the old days. It's like it's nice to see them there. But
Yeah, we're not in the old days. The new days are Formula One, dude, with a halo.
Yeah.
That's what we watch.
As a marketing
what I watch.
exercise, the WEC audience has to be super niche. They clearly know
Well, Le
about
Mans is
Porsche.
not
Le
niche,
Mans
but
is
other
not,
than
yeah.
that, yeah.
But it's I guess it's not a surprise because both Audi and Lamborghini,
Right.
also under the same umbralla, also had pulled out
Didn't
of. So I
Ferrari
guess
beat
it's
him
just-
last year?
Yeah, and the year before, and the year before.
Ferrari beat
Sour
him 3 years
losers.
in a row. Ferrari beat him so bad they quit.
Yeah. That's everyone's dream. I don't want to just win. I want to win so bad you quit and shame.
Well, Ferrari had to win something. Support for today's episode comes from Square, your all-in-one business partner that makes your day-to-day easier. From point-of-sale systems and payments to inventory and customer tools, Square brings everything together in one simple platform so you can stay organized, sell anywhere, and keep things moving. Whether you're running a cafe, boutique, or something entirely your own, Square gives you the flexibility to grow at your own pace and even set up an online store all in just a few clicks. We recently started hosting in-person events, and selling our Cars and Bids merch has become much easier with Square. The hardware looks great on the table, it's fast, it's reliable, and it lets us focus on actually talking to people instead of wrestling with payments. It just works. One of the first things I noticed about Square was how simple it was to use. No training, no learning curve, just intuitive design. Even crazy Nick could handle using this. All of my favorite local small businesses use Square. Even my favorite place to spend money, E39 Source, uses Square to make my E39 M5 bills much easier to process and easier for me to spend money. You can sell in person, online, or both, and it scales with you as you grow. Square keeps up so you don't have to slow down. Get everything you need to run and grow your business without any long-term commitments. And why wait? Right now, you can get $200 off Square hardware at square.com/go/carpod. That's SQUARE.com/GO/CARPOD. Run your business smarter with Square. Get started today.
All right, next news story. Do we have any more?
No, that's the end of the news.
God, we have so much to cover this week. For example, I still want an Arena Red 993 twin turbo. Nick,
at that.
do you have any thoughts on this? You haven't been on the pod since we've been talking about this.
I think this is the most bizarre way to do a wanted to buy ad. You need to go on Run Lester.
Using a boxed car model on a video podcast.
Yes, not a very scalable tactic anyways.
No. Someone sent us this, and it got my wheels a turning. And then I did this video. I don't. Maybe it's already posted. Maybe it hasn't. I don't know. If not, it's your little preview. I did this video on cars I should have bought And I remember the time I should have bought Morgan Freeman's 993 Turbo, which turned out to not be Morgan Freeman, the actor, but a different fellow.
Right.
And I passed on it for that reason. But in retrospect, who cares?
Yeah.
Right. I can't
Should have
believe
just bought the damn car.
I can't believe you had a John Voight's LeBaron experience in your actual life.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible for those who are Seinfeld fans out there.
That's exactly what it was. The difference is I didn't buy the car, and I should have. And George shouldn't have bought the car, and he did.
I am happy you're back on cars. You're back on buying cars.
Ready to
and
buy a twin turbo.
You're admitting to being a Porsche guy.
I haven't heard from the fellow who rolled back the odometer. He said he'd check and call me right back.
Yeah.
And that was 2 weeks ago.
We're
still waiting on that
Still
call.
waiting. He must be,
Sir, are you too busy rolling back odometers to call me?
maybe he's busy rolling it forward now.
Well, that's what he should be
That's
doing.
what he should be doing, but he's not.
To match his service records. That in his ad, they said they went back to new, and there were 6 total service records, including none between like 2000 and 2017.
Got some dealers.
Yeah, some dealers, but not the brilliant
all.
ones on Cars and Bids.
Of course not.
Kind of really mean that though. I've been thinking about it more, and like,
Well, no, the dealers who sell on the auction sites understand that like there's
You
a
gotta be
brain trust
transparent.
that's
Yeah.
looking, and you have to. It only benefits you to be transparent.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are very engaged in the comments and like are sending
and they
pictures. and
buy
stuff,
the
and they're
cars with that in mind. Like when
Yeah.
they go out and get the cars, they're not trying to ham it up. If a car doesn't have those service records, they negotiate that into the deal, and then that's something they disclose on the site.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes them seem more transparent, which they are. Whereas, like, buy the car and just lie, oh, it has service records to new, and just try to convince, trying to sell your cars at top dollar to unsophisticated buyers is a strategy,
Yeah.
but like probably kind of a sucky one.
Yeah.
I was trying to buy or have been chatting with a dealer that has an SLR. They have no service records. So I'm like, can you hunt them down for me? Can you do this, that? They won't do anything. And then they automated text me, would you like a virtual test drive? And it's like, gosh, you have zero idea how to sell this car.
You would love a virtual test drive.
But what is that?
It makes no sense. Speaking of that, Nick, let's talk about SLRs for a minute. What's the situation there?
Well, we'll have to wait and see for sure. But I was on the pod, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
And like you, I did a wanted to buy ad during the Talk Car segment. Our
This is what we're going to use the pod for from now on.
preferred way of sourcing vehicles to a certain Tyler Hoover in Kansas. Let's just say we've been texting.
Oh, wow.
okay.
Are we going to
Yeah.
break any ground here on the pod?
And
Wait. Let me ask the question a slightly different way. Are we selling the Murcielago?
We are selling the Murcielago.
Okay, so if we were to make some conclusions here,
if you could probably say
watch on Nick's YouTube channel
That's
for
right.
a
That's
full
right.
conclusion.
I'm
It's-
going to gatekeep this, but there's a decent chance that I'm getting a fire damage SLR in the next week or so,
Okay,
depending
nice job,
on when.
Nick. Way to keep that. Go
Wait
to
a-
Nick's YouTube channel, and maybe he will have some sort of explanation of what's happening on the YouTube
You know what's
channel.
funny? The commenters so far are all saying selling the Mercy for an SLR is a terrible idea.
Yeah.
The Mercy is way cooler.
Yeah.
I actually kind of agree with them, but once you've had a car for 3 years, you've checked the boxes.
The thing
it's
that
just
the commenters don't understand when they say that is like ultimately, at some point, you're just ready for a new experience.
yeah.
And yeah, I think the Mercy's cooler than the SLR. I agree. But like how many miles you put on the Mercy?
Yeah. 6,000 something over 3 years.
6,000 miles, did Car Week, did a manual swap. Like,
done everything.
We did the racetrack with it. We've
Yes.
done a million mountain drives. Like at some point, it's like, well, I kind of did the stuff and I'm not looking to like be a collector and
Yeah.
just add.
Right.
I wish I could, but yeah. Well, honestly, what happened was a few people got into my head and made private offers off market for it, and they were good enough that I was like, wow, this could unlock some funds and make it so that I could go to the next vehicle. And then we were at Car Week and talking about SLRs, and I realized basically the offers I was getting and the amount I would have to pay for an SLR are simpatico, so that I wouldn't have to spend any money out of pocket.
I'm excited for you to eventually get an SLR, whatever SLR it may be.
Whatever one,
Yeah.
we don't know.
I just, I'm curious how long that sticks around.
It
to be honest,
might not be that long.
Everybody is so negative about this. I think it's going to be cool. I think you are going to really enjoy it. It does not drive as well as a mid-engine supercar, but it has some really cool benefits, including high speed.
Yeah.
And it looks crazy.
That's my biggest fear with him is that this is a very, very fast car. I am so worried.
I'm going to jail.
Yeah, that's honestly not
also,
an unrealistic
I've just
concern.
learned from my own Countach experience that when people online say stuff about cars, their experience is usually either zero or basically zero.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
Owning a vehicle, like I owned the Countach, did 2,500 miles, spent the time, you really start to develop a different relationship with the car than if you took it on a test drive or in the case of all the YouTube commenters, simply parroted what they've heard in other people's content.
Right. I've driven one and it is very cool and enormously powerful.
Yeah.
It's very impressive.
I do like sledgehammers as a vehicle genre,
As do I.
Ton of power, kind of big,
In
hard
your
to
face
toss
design,
around.
crazy looking.
Yeah.
Like if I saw an SL, if I see a Mercy on the road, it's a big deal and I take a picture and I look. If I see an SLR on the road, I lose it.
Yeah.
Like I absolutely would lose it. I haven't seen one on the road randomly in I don't know how long. There were a few when I lived in Atlanta. There were a few.
It is wild. Look shopping at these, and I've literally contacted every single one for sale, many of which have sold months ago, and the dealer just keeps them up. But most of them have under 10K miles, and I would say more than half of them have under 3,000 miles.
Maybe
They do not get driven.
Maybe that's
Absolutely.
because they're not that great to drive.
Maybe.
Again, people parrot. People have not spent time.
I've driven the car.
But like I said,
Once.
there's a different experience.
I know I haven't owned it, but
there's a different experience that happens when you've spent 2 seconds in a car versus when you've actually had the ability to, hey, I own this, I have plates on this, I can go hard into this corner.
Sure.
I can do a little traffic leave, but I can go on a mountain drive and not feel worried because it's my car.
But if that were if it were true that it were so great to drive, sure there'd be more with more than 5,000 miles.
I'll tell you
But
something. I'll tell you something. The greatest driving car in history, the Courier GT. And by the way, verified that this morning. Good luck finding one of those with over 5,000 miles. I searched far and wide when I got the money. I had a pretty significant time window after we took the investment. I was willing to wait up to 6 days in order to spend all of the money on a car. And we looked, and it ain't easy to find a Courier GT with over 10,000 miles.
How many SLRs do they build? Do you know? Not counting
3,000, right?
I had looked it up. I know the Roadsters are about, I want to say it was 1,300 coupes and about 600 Roadsters.
2157 total.
Yeah.
Total. Is that counting 722?
It's counting
and
all
Sterling
of them,
Moss?
including the
European ones.
Sterling Moss.
Okay.
2157 total.
Well, nonetheless, I think it is.
1262 coupes.
We'll have to watch it all again together. But I did go back and watch the Top Gear episode when they raced it from London to Oslo, which is nuts. From Heathrow to Oslo.
And when they did the first thing around the Top Gear track, it overtook the Murcielago as the fastest lap time around the Top Gear track. Right? Yeah, so feels very fitting that's...
What overtook the slur? Courier GT?
I didn't
You
watch.
getting one?
I think Courier GT was tested before the SLR was. But I think
Courier GT was faster than the slur.
I think they complained about the traction control system a lot on the SLR.
They complain. That's what they do.
And that might be the SL65.
You're going to have a great time with it. I totally disagree.
I think I can't wait to see it.
I can't wait either. I have not driven one, and I haven't seen one in a little while. So,
well, I'm excited
it'll be a treat.
I'll follow. I know you, so I'll follow your experience in person, but also follow it on your YouTube channel.
Thank you.
All right. This is exciting. I'm excited for you. I want to talk Multipla. Tell me the situation with the Multipla. It's legal?
It's legal. We got license plates in the mail, including one for the A2. So that is a positive thing. But the paperwork really wasn't too terrible. But it's about a month, I would say, since you and I picked it up at the port. Does that sound right?
How many miles have you driven it illegally?
I've driven it
all of them,
almost every day.
With a zip-tied Montana plate from a long ago vehicle.
No, well, from the Arnage. But yes, it's well, now it's a paper plate, which I think is even sketchier somehow.
But a legal one.
Yeah, I'll at least have registration if I get pulled over. But yeah, no, they processed it pretty quick. Like the checklist was true to form. It wasn't too terrible. It just took a while to get the customs forms from the actual customs people.
So the Multipla is registered. Did you end up having to pay tariffs?
So far, no. I have heard of people that 2 months later they get hit with something, but Rami, who helped us import it, is confident based on all the ones he's done that we shouldn't. And his interpretation of it. And so far we paid 3% duty, but that's it.
Which is normal.
Knock on wood.
Interesting.
Wow.
Well,
so the Multipla is registered. We can drive it around. You drove it here today. I noticed it's parked outside.
Yeah, did you see the zip tie door handle too?
What did you do?
I broke the door handle with Canon.
Yep.
And
in Long Beach.
I tried plastic welding and JB welding, and I can't get it back together. So I just have the metal pull up there. I put a zip tie so that I can kind of yank on it and use it as a door handle.
It's like
I have one coming from Europe, but we'll see how long it takes.
it's a very lightweight solution in the meantime. It's like
Yeah.
a boxer spider, you know?
I mean, no one's stealing that thing. It's got a manual. Like, good luck.
Can we talk about the Mercy? So the Multipla is here. The next generation of cars is starting to arrive.
Yeah.
The Multipla may be an SLR. We don't know. We don't know. For God's sake, it could be anything.
It could
but
be
it might be an SLR.
an SL65, which has more horsepower and torque.
He's like sad about this now.
I know.
I should have figured that out in advance. I could have saved.
We'll
Money.
talk about our 230s.
You
in a
could have had an
minute, but-
SL65 black.
You know
for
what I'm
you're paying.
actually in the market for?
Yeah.
Third one to Dubai ad. A silver R63. I want to build the ultimate two-car combo for silver Mercedes of 2008. If anyone has an unmodded, ideally.
You're going to do it.
Hey,
Tyler
Nick,
did it
two
with the
questions
BMW.
for you. First off, 2008. I thought all the SLRs were 05, 06, 07, unless you're referring to a specific one.
Well, anything of that run is fine.
Yeah, R63 is not that great to drive.
Neither is a Multipla.
Well, you haven't owned one, so maybe you don't know.
No, I drove one once 7 years ago, and that makes me an expert. I'm going to go into every YouTube comment section and talk about it.
No, you guys had a nice one that had a
So-
Weisstech supercharger. That's what I should have gotten.
But yeah, nothing like supercharging the head bolt motor. I want to talk though about the Mercy. So you're going to sell the Mercy on Cars
I
and
am.
Bits.
It should be live Thursday, right?
Thursday. If this pod goes up on Friday, yes, the following Thursday, yes.
Yes.
The
And you are
16th.
reviewing it, I'm told.
I'm going to drive it tomorrow, film it tomorrow.
I can't
Very
wait.
excited.
I'm excited to get your feedback on the converted Mercy since you've driven both stick and e-gear. I obviously am thrilled with it, but I'm super biased. It's my car.
I've driven a Stick 03. I've driven a Roadster tip.
Yep.
And I've driven a LP640 coupe tip. So I am curious also.
But the most thing I'm curious about is it'll be the first converted Mercy
Yep.
to sell publicly, at least that I'm aware of.
Yep. No, I mean the first public sale. There may have been
Yeah.
private sales, but period. Not that
Yeah,
just
no,
that we're aware
I can't
of.
find any. I'm not aware of any. If there are, certainly comment. But the delta between an OE Mercy and an e-gear Mercy has always been like 2 to 3x. So where does a converted car hit in that spectrum?
Right.
I will tell you, I've gotten a few offers off market that were pretty strong, and frankly, maybe I should have taken. Again, that's what kickstarted this all. But I do think it'll be fun to see how it does, where it's a competitive environment and people will bid
Right.
to what they're comfortable with.
Right. We'll find out. We'll
The
find
market
out.
will tell us.
Yeah.
The
There's
market-
certainly no more well-documented one in terms of like all the YouTube content. Like, unlike some other cars, like you know what you're getting. I did find one converted car for sale at a dealer,
Oh, really?
and but they couldn't even tell you who did it. Like they knew nothing. There was no receipts, no records. Like I wouldn't touch that. Like
Yeah.
it could be some dude's cousin.
I would touch it at the right number, but yeah, I
Right.
totally agree.
It won't bring value if you can't even.
if you can't document it all. And you have you did it. Machina did it. An esteemed conversion shop.
Well,
I'm
not just
told.
that. I mean, I have all my service records. I have service records from the previous owner. Like, again, a Mercy, part of what holds back the values is everyone's terrified of maintenance costs.
I am.
So,
My assumption is because you've done probably 1,100 miles in it too since the conversion.
1,600.
1,600. That's also, in my opinion, a huge benefit. Like
Yeah.
that, there's
Yeah.
some proof of concept.
We've
If this
shook it out. If there was going to be an issue, it would present.
I
by
didn't
now.
just convert this car to then flip it for sale. Like I converted it, drove it. I mean, 600 miles is real.
Did you have any issues with it on that? Did you have to do any
I had
adjustments?
the intake air temperature came off of its little plastic bushing and was resting on the engine and occasionally getting too hot. I don't think that was the conversion fault. I think like either shipping it or just driving the crap out of it. Like I literally just fastened it back in and cleared the code and it was fine.
It was fine. 1,600 miles since the
yeah.
conversion. You know, that's about as many miles as it would take to drive from Wichita to San Diego.
Yeah. I'm not doing that drive.
Why would you have to do that drive, Nick?
Well, stop wearing crappy shirts and try True Classic. True Classic are the guys who set out to make premium, comfortable clothing without the designer price tag. I'm Crazy Nick, and I am wearing head-to-toe True Classic because I like simple, easy stuff that I don't have to think about while my mind is having ADD issues, wondering where my Multipla is, when my Bentley's going to get fixed, or any of the other things going on. Whether you're flexing in your Mercy or just picking your kids up from school in your daily driver, try True Classic. No bunching, no stiff fabric, just clean, effortless comfort. And clearly, people agree. True Classic has sold over 25 million shirts, which is more cars than Maserati will ever sell in their lifetime, and have over 5 million happy customers with 200,000 5-star reviews. Their shirts fit where they should, feel incredible, don't break the bank, yada, yada, yada. You get that confident, put-together look without the designer markup. Forget the overpriced brands or cheap throwaway stuff and try True Classic. It's built for comfort, built to last, and built for guys who actually get out and drive or work on their vehicles. You can find them at Amazon, Target, Costco, Sam's Club, or head to trueclassic.com/cars to try them out for yourself. That's trueclassic.com/cars.
I want to say one thing. I want to do in my Talk Car segment. I want to say something about Lamborghinis. I am going to posit a theory. I've posited several theories on the pod before: the Cayman nucleus theory, the GT4 nucleus theory, and various others. Here's a theory.
What was the one about market caps? That was a good one.
Market cap theory of supercars. Here's my theory, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna say it here. And again, when Johnny Lieberman tries to steal this theory, you heard it on this podcast first on October the something or other. Lamborghini supercars will one day be valued and considered as the Ferrari supercars. The Lambos supercar collection will be the Mura, the Countach, the Diablo, and the Mercy, all gated manuals. Yep. If you have those four, it will be someday akin to having the 288. Ferrari has now fractured it, and it's too difficult to figure out what's what in the Ferrari supercar world. So as far as I'm concerned, collecting Ferrari supercars is over. It ended with the LaFerrari. Some are going to say, oh, the F80, but then do we count the SP3? And I guarantee you there's more money grabs coming. I promise you. Because I think the SP3 is cooler than the F80 or the LaFerrari, and it's just as expensive, and it has the same powertrain, so how does that not count? And then the supercar collection gets murky, right? So as far as I'm concerned, Ferrari, it's over. It ended with the LaFerrari. There were 5. Lambo is the big 5, the big 4 Lambos, all with the Bizzarini engine and all gated. That's going to be the next big thing to collect, the big 4.
So is it going to be the best versions of all this? So is it like
we'll see how it's viewed.
Mira SV?
We'll see how it's viewed.
Downdraft, Countach.
I don't know.
Some version of the Diablo.
My crystal ball is not quite as clear as you want it to be. It's a little bit cloudy in there, but this is the future of the collecting thing. And I will tell you also, I think that Porsche 959 Carrera GT and 918 is the beginning of a Porsche run of supercars. And someday, very annoying rich people will have the Ferrari section of their garage with the big 5, the Lamborghini section with the big 4, and the Porsche section with where now the big 3 and presumably will be more.
You're missing the most important one, though.
NSXs.
No, the McLaren run, the F1, the SLR, and the P1. All 3 made by McLaren in the McLaren factory at extremely limited numbers that are Halo cars. Thank you. I would drop the mic, but it's on a boom.
I'm going to tell you this. The SLR will never be in a garage with any of the collections I'm referring to. Anyway, that is my Lamborghini supercar Bizzarini engine.
I co-sign. I think you're right. I think Lamborghinis.
I mean, yours are already there.
Younger generation.
But really, it's only the Bizzarini cars. It's not, because they only came as manuals. Or you can get them all as a manual.
It is the Bizzarini engine cars and only the gated ones. I think that will be the collection to have.
Yep.
Which obviously is all Miras and Countaches. But I do think that it will be probably people wanting to do it best will want to pursue the best of the best. So Mira SV, Countach, either a periscopy or a downdraft. Mercy, I don't know, a gated SV if you can find the 3 of them that exist, or at least an LP640. Mm-hmm. And then Diablo SE30 probably.
Or the LP650.
Is there a manual LP650?
I don't know if they offer that. I don't think they offer that with a manual. They have the Ziegler on there.
I can't believe you just 580 shamed me, though.
Well, I shame myself.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a downdraft. Joe Sacchi told me that without a downdraft, I am nothing. Right, I am no one.
You won't impress any of your friends.
My friends will not be impressed.
And he's right.
He's right. Kennan's like, oh, you know that? You got a Countach, you have a downdraft? What, you a loser?
Nonsense. Get out.
We do tune you out quite a bit.
What's that?
We do tune you out quite a bit.
You know, it's interesting that Joe Sacchi told me my friends wouldn't respect him, but instead, I think that actually changed the way that we respect Joe Sacchi. That comment, I think it had that effect. I do want a 993 turbo. Can Joe or someone help me out with that? How do I get into this? Can I open this? next week. Kenan, you got any cars?
Yes. So as I mentioned, I'm going to Road Atlanta to take part in the Petite Le Mans. Filippo and I will both be there. We're going to be there for the Cars and Coffee event. On the main event itself is on Saturday, and that's when we will be there to hang out with people. We'll be all around the track. We have a schedule that's coming out, so you can come up and say hello.
What kind of cars are going to be at this? You got
we put a thing out on the community tab to so people could submit their cars. We had a certain number of spots, I think 50 or so, and it was incredible the response we got. Some wild cars.
You got an F50 GT?
As a matter of fact, yes. No, of course not an F50 GT. But no, we did get some.
What
really
about a Blackwood? You got a Blackwood coming?
No, I wish we had.
Can I ask you a question about this? It's going to be at Road Atlanta. You can go meet Kenan.
And
it says that what's going to be there is cars, coffee, and race day energy.
Yes.
Kenan, tell us, what is your race day energy like?
I'll tell you what, when the Valkyrie goes by and I hear that NAV12 screaming, I am pumped. So I'm ready.
It's like a 12-hour, 15-hour, 18-hour race.
It is so 10 hours. Yes, it is. Wow. It starts at 12:10 in the afternoon and goes until 10:10 p.m. And we will be there for all of it.
You are going to be at this thing for the entire race?
And I have to help set up, so I'll be there at 7 a.m.
But surely Filippo won't be.
No, Filippo said that he will be.
Think about it.
I mean, yeah, but he gets to take slack breaks. That's
he'll
like
sleep. He'll sleep. He'll go into into one of the team's buses and sleep.
Yeah, he'll sleep on a jack stand somewhere. No, he's just like, he will be there. I will be
What are you driving in Atlanta?
I'm not driving anything.
Silverado?
Driving around. Filippo, meanwhile, is driving an Aston Martin.
I know he is, but are you driving a Silverado or what?
I wish I were driving a Silverado.
Last time I was in Atlanta, I rented a X7 on Turo.
Wow.
I also rented a BMW last time I was in Atlanta.
Which one?
It was a fake Alpina 7 Series.
That's tracks. So
that's Atlanta. All right, Kenan, I want to talk about Harry and the 250 GTO. You can do it, or I can do it, but we can do it. I
will halfway talk about it. So our collective hero, Harry
the greatest car YouTuber.
Yep. I would definitely say so. Recently drove a 250 GTO.
How does this only have 370,000 views?
Because people are tasteless and need to wake up and pay attention to the good content that's being produced.
You tasteless people, this is good content.
No, not our viewers, of course, but but correct. Harry did a video talking about the 250 GTO. He got to drive. It's a Series 2 Drago body car, and he got to drive around in this because he was helping move a series of cars to an event. So it was a Series 1 GTO, I think a D-Type, and a 250, a 58 pontoon body Testarossa. And
did you watch this video? You should watch it.
I can't. British people, the sound of their voice, I can't pay attention.
Nick, who do you think made the SLR that you may or may not be buying?
He's like soft-spoken, and I can't.
I can't pay attention to British people.
I need jump cuts and like shouting and ideally.
That's exactly why we love Harry.
Ideally what? Nick,
I need like Whistler Diesel level of
That's
stimulus.
why we love Harry. There's no jump cuts. There's no shouting. The production quality is laughable. It's just facts.
It's just information.
It's just facts.
I mean, look, we're looking at
meanwhile, what Nick wants is no facts and only entertainment.
Yep.
If you start throwing facts at Nick, it causes a problem.
But the most important part of this video to me is Harry drives the car, and he put a camera in it to go drive to move these cars around.
I haven't yet actually watched the drive. I just thought his explanation. I mean,
I learned a couple of things in this.
Yeah.
One is that like you often say it's like, oh, well, you won't be impressed with the performance of a 250 GTO for the money. It's like, no, but I'll tell you what, the experience even from the camera is.
And to be clear, I only say that when people talk about how an SL65 has more power than an SLR, and it's like, okay, there's more to a car than just the power level. I'm sure the experience is unbelievable. It must be.
It was a pleasure to watch. This video was incredible. I was so grateful. But the thing I noticed is like, and Harry mentions it, it really was a race car for the, like, look how thin like when he drives over bumps, you see the roof go like this, like it moves. It's just, I mean, you can kind of see it there. It's just like bouncing around. The car
tight
is
cabin.
Thin,
you're up tight. There. You only have the basics.
It's hot. No speedometer.
There's the lightning bolt symbol, which appears on race cars.
Yeah.
One thing I didn't realize that Harry told me, and others, but I think it was mostly geared to me, was that a few of the 62 cars were rebodied as 64s. I thought all the 64s were newly built.
No.
And then the 62s were themselves, but including this car, he said, I think.
Yes,
right?
this car, that's correct. This car was rebodied as a Jaguar body car, which the things I realized which is an interesting point and unfortunate because the Series 1 is so pretty and the Series 2 is not.
Yeah.
But the things that he points out, which I think is fascinating, is that like they really took the 250 LM styling.
It looks like an LM. Yeah.
The rear really looks like a 250 LM if you just looked at it from here.
Not the nice, I mean, the 250 LM was a mid-engine car, so
it made sense.
Doing the look on a front-engine car is odd.
Right. It's like the Miura. This is kind of their transition.
The 64s never look good, but I understand why they're just as appealing now, having watched this video.
Right. It's so interesting, and everybody should go watch it. If you're at all interested in
You're
vintage
never going
Ferraris.
to get 250 GTO, the most expensive car in the world, and the most desirable car from the most desirable brand. You're never going to get coverage of it from anybody else.
No.
I will never do a video on it too. It's just never going to occur. No. I don't know that I'd even want the risk, honestly. When I did Leno's McLaren, he was like, you can't drive it. I was like, thank the God, let alone this. I mean,
But I had
Harry can do it though.
Of course. And I found out, or I thought about this, like, it only has 376,000 views only. But I had a feeling in Harry's end of the year wrap up when he talks about his videos, because he goes through his analytics, around Christmas time. I had a feeling this video it's like, what do you have to do to make a popular YouTube video? He drove a 250 GTO, a car no one gets to drive, and it only did this number of views. And I'm sure it'll be something about like eco-friendly fuels or something that will get.
Or how many views did your Ferrari 360 putting a TV on the roof get?
Even beyond that, I got, and I'm not trying to compete with Harry because I think that Harry's content is truly peerless, but I got 465,000 views doing the Lucid Gravity. Now he's only been up for 3 days, but this is one of the reasons I don't do old cars. This is one of the reasons I do. I remember, I'll never forget when I went to Dubai and I filmed an Espada and a 250 Lusso.
Yep.
And a Boxer and a Urama and some Maserati. The Ghibli. It was a Ghibli. It was a Maserati Ghibli.
Oh, it was the Ghibli.
Yeah. And there's the Maserati video.
Not
there.
that one.
And I filmed those 5 kind of famous Italian exotic cars. And then at the very end, because I had one extra slot to film, the guy who worked at the dealership also owned a Hyundai Equus that was pre-US market, like it was a 90s Hyundai Equus. I filmed that, and that one did the best.
Wow.
And it just proved to me that there's just the audience isn't there, even if you have a 250 GTO.
But for those of us who appreciate it and are like,
you will never
diehard
get a more
cars,
in-depth look.
No, it was extraordinary.
Extraordinary. Go watch that video. Watch Nick's. Go on Nick's YouTube. Forget about my stuff. Go on Nick's YouTube channel. Find out his SLR thing. We don't know. Ooh.
I actually think that might be the best video I've seen in the 250 GTO in recent memory. There is the Petrolicious one of 7 minutes of it uninterrupted at full speed, being driven really hard. That might be the best.
Has Harry done an SLR? I'm sure he has.
I believe he did.
I don't watch SLR content,
yeah.
obviously. You should watch that because that'll be a good video. Like a good intro to the SLR.
Harry's Garrett.
You know who had a totally unrelated here, but you know how it's really hard to do good YouTube content of people driving on a track or just driving in general?
Oh, that's true. He did the MSO one. That's right.
Cool. Big Time did one on a 90s IMSA race car that they bought. And the way that they cut it and the sounds of just like the raw cut, sequential gearbox and everything, like they actually did a really good job at making you feel like you're racing with them.
I got to watch it.
Yeah. Just watch that. You can skip the rest. It's all good.
Supportive of Big Time, of course, as is Kenan.
Of course.
We get a new market report. I don't want to talk too much about it because we're pushing time here and we have to take questions, which were brilliant this week. And some of them are even geared toward Nick.
Wow.
But let's talk about market report, starting with the 1M.
Oh, yes. So we often talked about the BMW 1M, that the market has been strong, but it clearly is really strong. So this is a Valencia orange car, which is the color, but it was one owner, had 24,000 miles on it, which for one of these is a decent amount.
Yeah, you see them with 10 sometimes.
It's still transacted for $72,000, which is a ton.
Sticker was what, 50 probably?
55, I think, yeah, something like that. Actually, probably his picture.
It's crazy to me, especially that this car is so desired. There you go.
Yeah, boom.
54.6.
Who knows his BMWs?
It's crazy to me that these cars are still so valuable, especially because it was followed up with a car that was more powerful, still had a manual. They did a CS version of the next gen. They did a competition version of the next gen. Like everything that they usually when a car becomes valuable, it's because the next gen screwed up things like the Ford GT. All right, if we're being serious, the new one is a tip, is a turbo, is a V6. Yeah. And that has vaunted the old one. This car, that wasn't the case. BMW followed this up with a car that is by all measures better. However, the market is just in love with this car.
Well, yeah. I mean, this one is just
and I agree. Yeah. I'm in love with it too.
But it's same the SL65 versus SLR argument. It's more than just what it is on paper.
That's right. It is more than just what it is on paper. It is a special car in a way that is not just about the way it steers and handles and feels.
I love the way it drives. That overboost function that kicks into is so cool. It just does it automatically. I think it's if you're full throttle as well, like uses the throttle position sensor, and it will give you. I think it's like 7 seconds of like
7
overboost.
seconds.
Yeah. It's impressive. And so I think if you have it, I really like these cars. I
do too.
We've sold this many.
We've sold quite a few, 16 of them. But I drove this one.
Is this on your list?
Wonderful. Nah, this is too refined for Nick.
Yeah, it's too nice.
I'm sorry. It just
our mutual friend Mark has had 2, 3, something like that. Like it does seem like the people that buy them too get really into them, like cult following.
Yeah.
Like they sell them, they regret them, they immediately buy a nicer one, kind of like that's a very normal thing to do here.
It is a really, really, really special car.
Special, cool, and the values reflect that.
It's funny, when I bought my TTRS, I thought, oh, this will be like the 1M. It'll get a cult following. And TTRS, for some reason, never had the same effect that the 1M did, even though they were both like special enthusiast-only vehicles, certain low production manual.
Yeah, that is a little odd when you think about it, because TTRS was probably similar production numbers. Yeah. It was also based on a car where the regular one was not not that special. Yeah. It was also it was 1 year, right? 12.
12 and 13, I want to say.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that these cars never really took off.
And
at the
same with
level.
the one that followed it was quote unquote better, but like the old one was more special. Like this is when there was like a Facebook petition from Audi to bring this to America. Like clearly a marketing ploy, but at the same time, like
I think that might be the difference. This car was always viewed as a skunk works car that was never supposed to exist, and that made it really cool. And then BMW made it. And same thing with the Z3M Coupe. Like that car was never supposed to exist. It was something that engineers did in their spare time. Yeah, and it kind of added to the allure.
Yeah, that still is brought up when people talk about the 1M. Is it was like this car that was like kind of cobbled together, but almost made it like.
It was the best parts of what is one of the best M cars. The E9X M3 is a fantastic car. They put that in a much smaller package.
And it reminds us all of the 2002 and the E30. And I think that also plays a role.
And it was at that time when cars were beginning to get bigger and heavier. And it was like the last
We talk about the mid 2000s, but there were a few cars that sort of carried it on even beyond that. And this was one of them. This car did not come from the mid 2000s, but it has that ethos.
Yep.
I'm going to tell you a story about the 1M that I may have told you before, but I don't think I've told in this pod. The first time I ever drove one? Have I ever told you this?
I don't think so.
At Porsche, we would occasionally do, I have a picture of it in here somewhere. We would occasionally do swaps with other automakers. I'm trying to find the date. So they could drive our product and we could drive their product. Honestly, it's probably illegal and collusory, but we would do it. And and at some point, BMW sent us a Valencia Orange 1M. Wow. And I'm trying to find the picture here, the exact date, but here it is. And I got it on March 6, 2012 for one night.
One night.
It went around the office. There was no reason for me to drive it other than the people who were in power of these cars knew I was an enthusiast and thought I would like it. And so I got it March 6, 2012 for one night. Here's a picture of my friend Andrew driving the car for the one night. We're at a gas station. We probably had to probably drove it, like pulled an all-nighter in the car. And I absolutely fell in love with the car that one night. And I remember March 2012 at that time, there were still allocations available. Wow. And I can't remember if someone from our office did it or a friend of someone from our office did it, but went through someone we knew at Porsche who knew a BMW person and got it in an allocation. Oh, cool. And she said, Patty, the person who went, was the BMW like go-between. She's like, if you want one. And I was like, I don't know. It's 50 grand. I'm not sure. Would have been cool.
Just roughly what they sell for now.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I
nice
mean,
ones,
they just
nice ones even more, obviously.
Yeah,
but,
they just really have not I mean, this guy bought this and it was $55,000 car or thereabouts. Drove it 43,500 miles and
sold it for 50 grand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there just aren't that many modern cars you can do that with.
I still remember that one night. I've driven them several since then, but that one night was like all I really needed to understand just how special that car was. And this was coming from, at the time, I drove a lot of Porsches very frequently, and it was clear to me then that it was a really special
I
car.
love that one night impression.
Yeah.
Remember when Chris Harris had a Veyron for a night, and he in Germany, and he took
That'd
it
be
in
cool.
southern Germany where you have the true D restricted autobahns, and he took that and it was a 997, I think. .1 GT3 RS, and that was the chase car. And he said, there's great video of it where he just lays into. I think he did 220 miles an hour on public roads with it, which probably was maybe Bugatti didn't want him to do, but he did it anyway. But it's just the Porsche it's just not even close. It was a great demonstration of speed, but it was all night. He just drove it all night.
To have a Vey to just drive around.
That'd be a good podcast question. You can only have a car for one night. You can never own it or drive it again. Selena 7 would be mine, but you'd pick a car you wouldn't want to be stuck with, but really want to experience.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's a great question.
That is a great question.
But speaking of
Ask
questions,
it for next week. No, I want to talk about, there's two more market report cars I want to talk about. One is the C4 ZR1. I'll let you talk about it.
Oh, yeah. So this is not a very me car at all, I have to say. But I adore the C4 ZR1 because of the LT5. The engine in this car was so ahead of its time.
Yep.
And Corvette hasn't done another engine like it since. And I have just loved these cars. I think they're really special. There aren't that many of them, and I think they're really cool. But they are such a value, and everybody sleeps on them. This isn't like they're
gettable.
early C4s aren't the best cars. These cars were amazing, and I think that they really are undervalued for what they are. I mean, they sell for 20 grand all day long.
That purple one. Oh,
This one here.
red one, yeah.
This picture,
23.
this is a picture of the Midwest.
It's so
a poorly maintained road, a C4 Corvette, and personal watercraft on a lake. That is a photograph of the Midwest.
Yeah, which Midwestern states are from?
Never-
New York.
It's in New York.
Wow.
Famed Midwestern state. Yeah, but I mean, the spirit of it.
Spirit of the picture
is where Nick
and
I
he was
are
trying to
from.
capture that because he knew his buyer was going to be in Indiana.
Right, and he knew he's only got so many days. The
He
weather's
even
good.
put, if you go to the rear, he even put a Michigan plate on it.
Oh,
Then the famous one with the car.
Yeah, of
C4
course.
ZR1 is pretty cheap. I've never driven one to know if it's good, but it is cheap.
That motor.
another plug to a
14.
random YouTube channel, but Ammo NYC just had one on their channel last weekend. A barn find covered in rat poop and all that, and watching them wash it and polish it, it's black. So satisfying.
The later ones seem cooler. I mean, you mentioned that, early ZR1s kind of suck. Truthfully,
Or early C4s.
early
not
C4s suck. Truthfully, the early ZR1s were actually pretty early in the C4 run. They were 90, 91. It's kind of, but later they did go with the ZR1 all the way through to the end, where it kind of got better looking and
yeah.
probably got tighter. and-
They got a lot more modern looking, that's
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, I just really like these cars. This is a Corvette I would actually genuinely consider owning. This and the C5 Z06 are the two.
I want a C4 Grand Sport. Can you pull up a C4 Grand Sport just so I can look at it? I'm not even going to talk about it. We'll do it on another pod.
We'll just look at it.
I just want to look at it for just a minute. Grand
yeah,
Sport. Don't.
Wasn't there a one without the D though at some point?
I think this car
That
is
is
the
cool.
coolest looking
Man,
Corvette.
that's a picture of the Midwest.
Truly believe.
Yeah.
March.
Truly believe this is the coolest looking Corvette of all time.
Was that Gran
Of all,
Turismo?
of all time, you think
Yeah.
the C2 split window is?
Oh, C2.
Yeah.
Okay, C2 split window followed by this.
Oh, get the dog.
Yeah,
Go back one.
there's a dog.
I just think the C4 Grand Sport is like a truly
Was that a
beautifully perfect car.
male dog or
And
female
it was
dog?
96 only. It was the last model year of the C4, so that was like the best of breed. Oh,
It is cool.
I want one of those.
Damn, it is cool.
Why don't I have one of those?
Because you got other stuff.
Yeah, it's time to make a list and start going after some cars. Okay, last thing I want to talk about is the mid-engine GTI.
Back on cars.
Yeah, this car,
We're back on cars, baby.
back on cars. This one was a bit of a surprise. It feels like it's up your alley.
Did
The
you see
mid-engine
this?
one? Yeah.
Yeah, I have no words for this exactly. So recently, someone sold this as someone sold a GTI.
Oh, I didn't
on
see
the
the
site
result.
where they put the engine in the middle. So this is the front. You can see no motor up here because it lives back here. Look at that.
It's a homemade R5 turbo.
It is.
It's cool.
And
with the vents. I mean, like if another 20 grand had gone into this build, you could have made it like look factory. Like obviously that doesn't really.
Right, that doesn't,
I
but
like
you could have
that.
painted that and made it look a little nicer, dressed it up a little bit. But otherwise, the car looks pretty factory. I mean, there's some you know, pretty big giveaways.
I'd say it's a sleeper build in general.
There's some pretty big giveaways.
You know, yeah, but it sold for $9,700. I think this is an unbelievably cool car.
I completely
for that kind
agree.
of money.
I saw this come in when I was doing the Doug's take, and I was like, "Wait, what?"
Did the comments say how he got California license plates on this? Because
Yeah, I think
that's impressive.
There's a guy named Big Rick
Bubba.
and he's got a smog shop out somewhere out east of San Bernardino County. And anyway, yada yada yada. He's got California plates on.
He's got a GTI.
Wow.
This Mark 6 GT happens to be there. You know, I mean, if it gets plugged into another one.
Big Rick happens to also have a GTI.
Hey, man. You
Impressive.
know, yeah, but I just thought this was like the coolest thing. I thought it was going to go for way more, to be honest, because you really never know with these oddball builds.
You know,
but
I wasn't surprised to see this result. I think that you're buying someone else's project, and a car like this will kind of perpetually be a project. Like truthfully, like it's not like it's finished. Like you're always going to have to be working on keeping it whatever cooled or etc.
True.
And so you got to have some real mechanical know-how, but also you didn't want to do it yourself. You just want to buy whatever someone else did.
How cool.
It's cool as hell. I was astonished to see it come across. That and the Grand Cherokee, honestly, which also didn't sell for all that much with the Hemi swap. Dude, let's buy some swaps. But I think people are a little worried about buying people's swapped builds. Like 9,500.
Like
what
Mike
a
Burry, let's go buy some
bargain.
swaps.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to do questions. The questions are brought to us by Nick and his YouTube channel, Nick's YouTube channel. I don't know what it's called.
Nick Rochon.
Nick Rochon.
Yeah.
Go to Nick's
My
YouTube
name.
channel. We don't know how to say his name.
Rochon.
Go to Nick's YouTube channel. He sponsored our question segment today. So if you asked a question, you have Nick
I'd
to
actually want
thank.
to say thank you to the listeners for listening to Doug and coming
So
in
many
strong.
questions.
431 comments this week with questions.
So many questions, so many good ones. In fact, Kenan wanted to submit a question from his friend Jeff, and I deleted it. Sorry, Jeff. Submit it in the thread.
He did. It's in there.
Then it didn't get enough
I merely
upvotes.
highlighted it.
All right. First question from there's some good ones. I'm gonna try to find. Okay, first question from F40 RCK5. This is a great question, and it's gonna go not the way the question asker hoped it would. Hey Doug, Kenan is an anti-modification guy. What cars do you think look better modified aesthetically, especially BMWs? None. Dude, I have a crazy experience. I was at a shop yesterday, and the guy who runs the shop told me he bought a 996 C4S off the original owner who had died. And the wheels were factory chrome from 02. And the way he solved that problem was he was putting on aftermarkets. And I'm like, man, the wide body 996 wheels are so attractive.
Yeah.
But anyway, the answer is none. Nick, your thoughts?
I had a long list of cars. If we look at BMW only, anyone that does CSL mods on an E46,
But they
I'm
never.
so sick of
The
that.
problem is
Give me
they
the-
never stop where they should.
Nope.
They do two. They do that. There's only like 3 CSL mods, and then they also just have to lower it and do tinted tails and do all this other dumb crap.
that all looks great.
They.
I'm good with that. I said the Z3 and M Coupe Roadster, you got to do a height adjustment. It needs just a mild drop.
There is not a single car I have ever thought looked better lowered than OE.
I think every OE car looks better with spacers on it. The offsets are always too weak. Just push them out 5-7 millimeters. That's all you need.
I think every OE car looks worse with spacers on it. When I see a car with spacers, I think to myself, that guy is smoking pot in the car.
Look, perfect.
What's wrong with that?
Well, you got to smell.
Right, perfect example. CSL front bumper.
Looks great.
Wrong
Except
wheels.
We got slammed with E92 M3 wheels.
And then there's the CSL rear trunk lid, and then the black kidney grills, of course, which are awful.
I don't mind those either, but
They look
I know you
terrible.
hate
They
them.
look like giant holes that are in the hood. It just
Look at the current BMW design language,
Yeah,
and
but
those look
that's
pretty
part of the
good.
benefit of that car is it doesn't have the current BMW.
Right.
I actually don't hate the black grills that much on non-black cars. On black cars, I think they look really stupid. It is very rare, truly very rare, where I find a aesthetic modification. This is very different about other modifications. An aesthetic modification where I think that it looks better.
My
My
guilty pleasure is carbon fiber vented hoods, like that one white one there. I don't know why. I love that. I love it.
Steiner.
I think it's the Steve Saleen influence where the more vents equals faster. And so the more vents, like the S7 that you can put on a car, the faster I think it is. But
I love that.
Guilty
Like
pleasure.
in all
Love
these
it.
pictures, they're taken from a low angle to hide.
Yeah.
And Nick's like, no, get a close up of that.
It's not for everyone. I like the zip tie holding the two girls together.
My view, when I see aesthetic modifications, I generally think like, why?
Yep.
Even wheels. I'm a lover of factory wheels. I can tell if you show me any wheel ever, I can tell you exactly what car it was on. I am obsessed with factory wheels. I think the factory wheel designs have such an important component of the design and overall look of the vehicle. And I've bought cars based entirely on their factory wheel designs. And I really truly believe the RS2. And I really truly believe that like very rare do I see aesthetic modifications benefiting. I think lowered cars look bad. I honestly generally think the factory sets the ride height for a reason, and part of it is because when you lower a car, it ends up messing with the overall proportions, and it doesn't look great. I'm different. Most people completely disagree with this.
Nope, I agree wholeheartedly with that. I will say,
That's how you do it right. You want to mod a car aesthetically? Turn an E46 325i Touring into an M3, a factory looking M3 wagon.
Those are some mods I can get behind.
No,
I will say the one I would maybe give an exception to, although it was built by the factory, is the X5 LM, which is on these BBS wheels. But it was built by BMW.
It was built by the factory.
But it was an X5 that was heavily modified.
The moment the factory comes into play, it's fine.
Well, okay. I agree. But I mean, otherwise, it's an E53 on BBS LMs.
if you feel that way, then it's slippery slope. What about a roof? What about an Alpina?
Roofs are modded cars.
It's a factory did it.
But
what
factory? But not the factory.
Roofs are look. I'm going to be
Slippery
honest.
slope.
I'm going to make a proclamation right here and now. We've said it. We've intimated it before. Let's just go for it.
Just say it.
Roof is not an automaker.
Yeah.
Porsche makes the car. Roof maybe does an engine. They mod the car. We could make an engine. Like Roof is not an automaker. And so everybody's like, the Roof such and such was the fastest car in the world. No, it wasn't.
Yeah, I don't view the Yellowbird as being, it was faster than the F40. I view the F40 as like holding the record for the world's
Let's
fastest
mod
car.
an F40.
Right, exactly. When you modify something and it's faster than something that isn't modified, it's like, well, you're not apples to apples comparing.
Well,
it.
they have their own VIN. I don't care.
Okay.
Like, to me, if you park those, it doesn't pass the my wife test. That's the thing. If you park that car next to a 964, my wife would think it's the exact same car. You park an F40 there, that's a different car.
SL65 and SLR wouldn't pass the my wife test.
Well, the Roadster. See, that's why you buy an SLR coupe. Because the coupe has much better lines, and hopefully you'll do that.
It's a good thing I haven't committed either way, so it's plenty of time.
I think that is the drawback of the SLR Roadster.
I
is there's too much
disagree
SL in it.
strongly on the roof as well as
You
modifications.
think Roof is an automaker? They make 20 cars. They get their own VIN, and so everybody's like, "Well, they have their own VIN."
When Aloisa Roof showed me the rodeo at Car Week, I fell in love twice in the same moment. All right.
Oh, was one of the loves when she gave you a free cowboy hat?
It was
Didn't hurt.
didn't hurt. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, that's where our stance on modification. Thankfully, Nick is right here to give us
stand up for modifications.
To stand up for modifications.
Yes.
I'm going to continue.
Nick's all into this. Click on that.
I am into that.
Nick's like, yeah.
I don't love the front lip, but that's easy to redo.
Man, that looks like it just scrapes on everything.
That's the other thing. Modifications almost exclusively have some downstream negative effects. Almost always.
But also some positive upstream effects. Right? If you take that thing to the track, I'm going to have more G's and I'm going to I'm going to out apex you and your ride height designed to not hit parking barriers when you go to the public supermarket in South Florida.
Out apex. You're gonna high center the car. Going.
The truth is, his body kit was probably $24,000, and the guy's terrified to take the car anywhere.
Right. Yep.
This parking lot is next to his house and completely flat entrances.
Yep. Exactly. The open highway is the only place you can drive it.
Okay. Next question from Emiston4757. I'm curious your take on this, guys.
Okay.
I had a couple of years from 20 to 22 where I took a break from cars completely. Have you guys ever taken breaks from your interest in cars, or were you always into it?
It's a great question. I do occasionally take a break from it because it's funny because I also am very fortunate that I get to like work in the automotive industry, which is something that I'm passionate about. And when your work and play are the same thing, it can be exhausting. I have a lot of other interests, and so what I often do is I'll just indulge one of them. Like I'll go, like when winter comes, I usually become way more interested in watches than cars, despite living in Southern California. It's just that's what I'm used to. And so like sometimes I'll just indulge those, but I do need some breaks from it because like, you know, it just wears on you after a time, I think.
I've never taken a break in my life, not even for a minute.
Not in interest. You take a break from purchasing. That's for sure.
But I'm still like watching the market every day, thinking about cars, watching YouTube car videos. It's literally never even for a moment since I was as long as I can remember.
Same for me. In college, you couldn't have a car. Like there just wasn't adequate parking.
That made me even more desirous.
Yeah, I spent so much time playing racing video games as well as hanging out on E46 fanatics. I never owned an E46. That was like my home for 4 years in college.
What?
And like,
why that instead of
why I like modded CSLs? When some dude chrome wrapped a CSL Flossman in Canada, and everyone said, "Oh my gosh, Chrome M3!" It like took over the internet in my world, and like I'd be like in like, you know, gender science 101 or whatever, and be like, "Did you see the Chrome M3?"
E46 fanatics, even though he never owned. Did you ever want an E46?
I still want an E46, and it's a very achievable dream, but I haven't done it.
Did you know this? I always knew he was on Audi Zine. Nick was Audi Ziner of the month about 13 years ago. You can actually Google it. It's still live on there.
Yes, shout out Anthony. Yes, no, but so that was the closest. Same with I lived in DC for a year and a half. I didn't have a car there, but I was still like hanging out on car forums and car culture. I couldn't physically drive anything.
I knew this about you.
Yeah.
I don't know why you did this, but I did know this.
Let me tell you something. When Nick, let me tell you something. When I met Nick, he didn't have a kid yet. He didn't have a child, and he was really into cars. He had that TTRS that he modded, the one that he money shifted.
Yeah, the one he money shifted.
And he's copying to it now. Finally, he money shifted his TTRS, and then he had his daughter, and I kind of thought we would lose Nick. I kind of thought that would be the end. I made it clear. I was like, Nick, I think this is kind of the end for you and your cars. And he actually, that's kind of was a turning point where he began to get crazier. Yeah. Actually, in retrospect.
Yeah. Maybe that's when my sleep apnea started.
Yep. Our friend group is very healthy. And
in quick succession, Nick got like an RS4, then an R8, and the Mercy, and various other cars. And he really proved me wrong there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was afraid that would happen to Nick then.
Spike cars.
Next question from Special K24, which is a great username. Question, it's a Honda thing. Question for Doug. Doug, can you peel back the curtain on insurance and other cost fees as part of owning a small fleet of supercars? You do a nice job sharing maintenance and repair items, but I'm curious what it costs are on owning these. Also, are you still doing storage? I am not. The cars are all stored at my house in the office because we have all the space. But ownership, I never really think about that. I mean, the insurance expensive. The rest of the cars are not insane, but I don't know that I've ever really discussed it. I should probably make a video about it. Sean will be mad that I put it in this video. But Career GT is about $10,000 a year to insure. It's $1,000 a month. That's a lot. And then you add up the other cars. And my bill at Haggerty, which comes due every February, is almost $20,000 a year. And just in general, when you kind of make some money, like insurance is like an unbelievable part of my life. I spend an unbelievable amount of money every year on insurance. Yeah. But that's about it. And then registration is what it is. I mean, you can look those up. They're all kind of percentages and stuff. It's not that crazy because my cars are mostly old, and the two states that I live in here in Massachusetts and in California, it's based primarily on the original value of the car, and so it's not crazy to renew the plates, but insurance is high.
$10,000, that's not that crazy for a $1.3 million car.
I mean, I think Haggerty knows that people who own these cars are not, well, first off, they're not going to file claims.
No.
Like ultimately, it's like, but also that, people who own these cars are not, they're so careful.
Yeah. And if you have multiple of them, that really proves that point.
I mean, Haggerty, I pay $11,000 a year, and it doesn't sound like all that much considering the car's so valuable. However, how many days do you even drive that car? Like it's like once a week and not for 90 days in the summer. So I don't know. Do I drive it 30 days? Their risk is limited to probably 20 miles on 30 days.
Well, and that's one of the great things, or one of the things that's often misunderstood, I think, about exotic car insurance. Because like my 355, it was like it added like $101 a month, because they knew I wasn't going to drive that car very much. So the risk is substantially lower. Now, if something happens, it's a problem, but
yeah. What's the Murcielago situation there?
It's like, I want to say $5,000 or $6,000 a year. It's not terrible either.
By the way, I do assume I get some sort of discount with the Career GT because I have so many. I have like $2 million in cars insured with
that's where I was going to go. When I added the Arnage, the total policy went down because the multi-car discount, say it's 5% off, was subtracted more off the Mercy than the cost to add the Arnage, which they assume is just like worth nothing. So like,
and they're right.
And the Arnage actually saved me money on insurance by bringing down my total bill more than.
But it costs you a hell of a lot more.
Yeah, that's true. It's bit me on the other end.
Next question from R. Lauer. Hey all, after all your years of driving manual cars, how often do you guys accidentally stall? A couple of times a year. Does it never happen anymore? Stalled the Career GT today. It does still happen. It is very rare. I generally only do real miles in the 3 manual cars that I own, and I am really dialed in with how to operate them.
Yep.
How often do you stall? Probably all the time.
Oh yeah. I think between my attention span and everything else, it's bound to happen. Matt Ivanhoe let me test drive a 996 GT3 Club Sport.
Oh yeah.
And I stalled it out on a hill. And then like he was looking at me like, you idiot. And then that just made me like completely freak out. And like it took me like a minute to get going again.
Sometimes unfamiliar cars can be hard. Although when I am doing videos with unfamiliar manual cars, I am putting an enormous amount of effort and attention, which Nick doesn't, into that driving experience.
When you get frazzled.
Like I didn't even install the crazy BMW 700. I didn't install it once, which is hard to do.
Right. It stalled itself on me, but I did not stall it.
Well, with the Mercy, when you drive it tomorrow, you'll find it almost needs no gas. Like it could just go on its own like a Carrera GT.
Generally speaking, the exotic cars, that's true.
The Multipla, you got to pretty much do full throttle.
Yeah.
So you just got to like if you go from one to the other really quickly, like you're putting way too much pressure on one pedal or the other. So
I think I've stalled. I want to say it's been once in the last 3 years, I think.
Wow.
Like I remember it was my M5 too. It was like there was a situation where there's like a lot going on, and so I was paying attention to something else, and I just.
What about you drive a lot of other cars, like when they come off the truck here and.
Yeah, I don't have any problems with those.
Damn.
I mean, because I always you test the throttle pedal first, you figure out where the bite point is. Once you know that, it's.
And plus, with unfamiliar cars, I tend to be particularly like safe. Like I don't like try to get it at the exact. I probably put in a little too much gas and a little too much. You know what I mean? Trying to make sure that I don't stall because that's not.
Backing the Mercy off the top of a transporter truck. I stalled.
Reason alone.
That was so. It has about this much clearance on both sides from the wheels. For whatever reason, the transport driver, he couldn't fit in the car, I think was the issue. And they made us back it out. Now that was one where you're just like, I can't.
Yeah, reason alone not to want to transport.
I didn't install yours or his putting it in the truck. I was very careful.
Yeah.
Okay, last question, final question, last question, final question, last question. Let's talk about it. Cav S2K, reactions to Larry Chen visiting the Brunei car collection. I have not watched this video yet. It's 45 minutes long. But there's nothing new, right?
No.
He doesn't go to see the most special cars.
No, he goes to see the Princess's collection of cars, which are nothing. I mean, like the only Ferrari in it was a Mondial. Like it's like it genuinely is like, and it is sad to see all those cars. I mean, they are genuinely rotting away.
It's cool that he got there. It's cool that someone did it. We did not get in to see the cars that are not rotting away.
And I think the whole point of the video is it focuses more on Brunei car culture because the cars are auctioned off by the family regularly because they have so many
all the time. It's always
all the time. So those cars stay in Brunei and are owned by locals there, and the car culture surrounding them is very cool. But like, ain't nobody getting to see the real stuff.
Yeah, the getting in is cool. The fact that someone was there is super cool. We want to see Prince Jeffrey's crazy cars. And you know, I will say, this is my interpretation of this whole thing. I think the Brunei royal family to this day is a little embarrassed about the whole thing. And so they don't really sell cars out of the collection. And the important ones, they do auction off like Mercedes basically all the time.
Yep.
But they've never really sold any of the really big cars, a few here and there, but generally not. They've never opened it up to the public, even though it would have enormous public interest.
Yeah.
And I think they're a little embarrassed about it.
I think it's a mistake though.
I agree.
It's the only reason most people know where Brunei is or have heard of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And those cars are so special. It was an unbelievable time in the automotive industry, in the exotic car world. And I think a public museum there would be unbelievable.
Yeah, I agree. I think they should be more embarrassed about the cars they're letting rot away. That is more embarrassing to me than the crazy one-off stuff they built. But by the same token, it did keep Rolls-Royce and Bentley around.
Yeah. And people are now saying Aston Martin was saying the same thing. It kept them going. And
Likely.
Brunei, hopefully, I'm super interested to see that video. Haven't watched it yet, but excited to see it when I do. Sad that we still can't get what we really want, which is me and Nick go to Brunei ourselves.
I'm down.
You've taken me on that trip. I'm not just going to let you take Nick here.
Yeah,
sorry,
God,
I'm going on that one.
You can't allowing Nick into a Muslim country. You gotta strict. You gotta have minders. He's got to have minders.
I think we'll just put like an electric collar on his wrist and just zap him every time he starts to say something insane.
There we go. That's our podcast. Ken, any final thoughts for us?
That best one we've ever done.
Best pod we've ever done. Nick is here, and I'm thrilled about it.
I'm thrilled to be here.
Lovely. All right.
Get on the Mercy next week.
Yeah, big Mercy week. Maybe there'll be an SLR. We don't know.
You'll never find out.
We're not announcing.
Have mercy.
I think I'm going to get an SL65 if anyone has one.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.